From our City Avenue studios, it's The 10 Show.
Hey, who doesn't like a compliment, right? Which is exactly why our next guest says you can improve your love life if you learn to give more compliments. She's written the book, The Compliment Quotient. Please welcome Monica Strobel. Hi, Monica.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Nice to have you. I have to ask you, what inspired you to write a book telling people how to give compliments?
Right. Well, people have always told me I'm a very positive person. And what I realized was that, you know, I've gone through my share of ups and downs in life. And the one constant throughout all of that was that I love to compliment people. So I investigated this power that's all wrapped up in giving a compliment, and it really transforms your own life besides the life of the person you're complimenting.
No, it's very interesting. Your tips are interesting, and I think there's something to it. But you also say you can arouse romance.
Absolutely.
With compliments, and that we forget to do this, especially with our spouses. Your first tip is put on your compliment glasses. How do you do that?
Right. Well, right now, you know, we've fallen into this habit of criticizing our spouse. We're feeling taken for granted, and we're focusing on all the things that aren't working. So by putting on your compliment glasses, I'm saying stop looking at the negative. Find only the positive, and that can be very hard. And then comment on it.
I mean, do you have a daily dose compliment? Do you have to do it every day, or and what's a good example?
Couples have stopped complimenting, and when they're first together, they're complimenting each other 2-3 times a week. By the time they're together 5 years, no compliments.
It all stops.
You know, we see our husband load the dishes in the dishwasher, but all we say is, you forgot the crumbs on the counter.
Oh, right. So, instead of saying, thanks, you're doing a great job loading the dishes.
Exactly. Focus. So the compliment glasses make you focus on the good and put that bad kind of out of focus.
And then you say amp up appreciation.
Well, who doesn't want to be more appreciated? And who isn't getting it? Not their pushy boss, not the kids who are so demanding. You know, it's really up to each other, our spouse, to remind each other how amazing we are and reflect back to them their brilliance.
Right, and thanks again for loading that dishwasher. You say be a stranger. How can you be a stranger with your spouse or your loved one or your romantic partner?
Right. Well, we get into this false sense of familiarity. We see them constantly, so we have the sense that we're so familiar. I say take a step back and look at them like you did when they were a stranger.
Are you supposed to do role-playing or something here? Or no?
Well, I suggest you could go to their work when they're not expecting you. If you're like at a soccer field, stand on the other side. How does your neighbor view them? How do the strangers, you know, other parents are on the soccer field? Wow, I remember what I saw in them back then, and that can stir up some of those romantic ideas.
And then you say unearth your flirt.
Absolutely. Go back to that time when you were flirting. You know, if you think, oh, well, that'll spoil my spouse, you have to think, well, would that spoil me to have somebody flirting with me and all of that? So you look stunning today, honey. You know, you want...
That can go a long way.
Absolutely.
Before you walk out the door,
Radical
it really does.
Romance in your comments stokes this mind, body, heart connection that's so much faster and better, you know.
And then you say create compliment codes. What do you mean compliment codes?
Well, that gets into, you know, if you want your intimacy and really stoke the foreplay, so if you create some code phrases that if you always say when you're being intimate that you're really hot, then you could say, wow, that's really hot, and you've got this instant emotional back connection back to that pleasurable time between you. And again, you've got to get some of that brain space. Our brains are filled with to-do lists and all of those things. So compliments take back that brain space.
So maybe start with a small step, a compliment a day, and see where it gets you.
Right.
It might. I think it's great advice. Monica, thank you so much for joining us
Thanks
today.
so much. I appreciate it.
The book is called The Compliment Quotient. Up next on The 10 Show, the search for the